Good evening, race fans, and welcome to a night where the limits disappear and legends are born. We're coming to you from the historic Lanier Speedway, where the asphalt is worn, the corners are tight, and the margin for error practically non-existent. Tonight is not just another race. This is Simability, no limits, just legends, where drivers from every background, every story, and every challenge come together with one shared goal: to prove that ability isn't defined by limitations. It is defined by heart. Under these lights, skill meets determination, precision meets pressure, and every single lap is a chance to make history. These drivers aren't just competing, they're inspiring, showing the world that racing isn't about what holds you back, it's about what drives you forward. From the drop of the green flag to the final checkered moment, expect intensity, expect drama, and expect the unexpected. Because tonight, at Lanier Speedway, there are no limits, only legends.
Hey Jacob, where would be a really cool place to see one of our Simability products?
How about the NASCAR Hall of Fame in Charlotte, North Carolina?
So big thanks to the NASCAR Hall of Fame and going above and beyond in setting up this ADA compliant simulator, and thanks for choosing Simability.
Okay, welcome to another ride along with Jason in our Simability Legends Car series. We are at Lanier Speedway tonight in Braceland, Georgia. This track reminds me a lot of Oxford because of the constant turning, but this track is bigger, so the draft will come into play here. The fast guys running 15.3s and 2s. So going into turn 1 here, you look at this caution light. Your left side tires underneath the shield line, pick it up hard at the blue insurance max sign. Turn 4, lift here at the first lamp post, left side tires below the yellow line, throttle off hard at the black hustler sign. So lap at speed will look like this. Lift at the final caution light, left side tires below the yellow line, throttle off hard at the blue insurance max sign. Turn 4, lift at the first light post, left side tires below the yellow line, throttle off hard at the black hustler sign. So the car on the outside can pinch the car on the inside down, take their side draft away. So should be able to see some good side-by-side racing here tonight. So I'm Jason Lance. Thank you for watching another Ride Along with Jason, and I hope you enjoyed the show.
Here, and it looks like he's going with red and chrome. To the outside is going to be the number 16 of Don Fisher, and he has had one win this season and is looking to add to that tally. Back from there, We're going to have Billy Wise in the number 32 Heineken machine, with Nate Anderson, who's really been coming on recently, on the outside of that row. Back a row to TJ, Tom Johnson, the number 23, and to his outside is the Icy Man. That is Jason Lance, and he has had a very rough time in qualifying tonight. Back from there, you've got the 87 of Andrew Smith, the 99X of Johnny Berardi, the 1 of Dalton Williamson, and the 13 of Alan Capers as we get ready to go green here. Drivers getting ready.
Green.
And the green flag is out. Bit of a late start for some drivers, but looks like everybody's going to scramble their way on down into turn 1. And things are tight going through here. We've got a battle for second. Billy Wise down on the inside, and that is the dominant groove here at Lanier. As you can see, Wise still plastered down here, but Fish is going to have a little bit better momentum on the outside. He takes away that second position as there's a little contact further back between Andrew Smith and Nate Anderson. Both drivers able to come out of that one okay as they flash by the stripe here. And the field is tight right now. So we're looking at Smith, who's side by side with Williamson. Williamson has won 9 races this season, and just behind him is the 76. That is the Icy Man, and he has won 2 races this season. So Jason Lance and Dalton Williamson buried in this field at the moment, both of which have won a lot of races this season. Back up at the front, it's Stephen Kiefer still showing the way here on lap number 5. Fish trying to work the outside in the 16 car, but can't quite get a grip up there. So you can see from the dark part of the track, most of the drivers have been running single file all night long, and it is very difficult to kind of pull out and try to pass somebody here. You really have to try and get a nose under them to make something work. But Fish trying to prove me wrong. He's still hanging up there on the outside as they come up to put a lap on Alan Capers in the number 13. That's probably about a lap out. Looks like Williamson and Lance have worked their way up to 4th and 5th, tag teaming their way up through this field. And for the lead, deep down to the bottom, Fish gets a run on him going into 1. Capers gets the wall. That's going to bring out the yellow, so we will see who ends up getting that position at the front of the field. We'll reset things and be right back after a word from our sponsors.
Hey Jacob, where would be a really cool place to see one of our SimAbility products?
How about the NASCAR Hall of Fame in Charlotte, North Carolina?
Welcome back. We are 1 to green here. Your leader is Fish, Don Fisher, in the number 16, and to his outside is the number 22, Stephen Kiefer, who's led almost every lap so far. Billy Wise, Dalton Williamson, and the Icy Man, Jason Lance, rounding out the top 5 as we get ready to go green here again. Pace car is off. They're anticipating it, and there it is. Great start for Fisher. He is not playing around today, as Wise is going to take a look underneath Kiefer for second. As they work their way into turn 3, Kiefer gets in a little bit deeper, but Wise is able to stay under him. And Lance is lined up right on Wise's bumper. He really wants that spot. Kiefer still holding strong on the outside of Wise. And Lance really having a little bit of trouble closing up to the 32 like he might want to. He finally gets up on his bumper going into 1, and that's going to allow him to walk through that open door underneath Stephen Kiefer's car. Williamson trying to do the same as Wise slides up out of the groove, and Lance goes after him. Jason Lance scored second at the stripe, and he's going to have it coming off of turn number 2. Williamson to come along with him. And Williamson completes the pass, so those two are up to second and third now, almost having tag teamed their way all the way to the point of this field. So your leader, Fisher, has got a bit of an advantage over these guys. Not a lot, but a bit. And is trying to walk them right now. Now there is a little bit of a draft here at this track, as I was able to ascertain in practice. It's not as powerful as it is at some of the other tracks we've been to, but it definitely can give you the smallest edge as far as lap time goes. And really, on a track like this, you have to take every advantage you can get. So we'll see if these 5 in a row are able to catch up to your leader, Fisher, who is showing the way right now. Cars flash by into turn 3. Some of our new camera angles for this week. And we're looking back here to Kiefer, who has fallen all the way back into the 6th position, I do believe. He is just trying to stay in line and hopefully get some of that back, but really rough break for him after he led so many laps, and it shows what can happen if you get caught on that outside line here. As Wise is having some connectivity issues, he's going to fall back a little bit further. Looking for... here it is! The Dizzy Cam, as looks like that is Alan Capers coming back out of the pits. The Dizzy Cam is really fun because you can see the suspension work, you can see the driver's hands, you can kind of see what they're doing. Let's take a ride here with Jason Lance, who is being followed by Dalton Williamson right now. And Lance is really arcing that thing in there compared to Williamson. Some of these guys are braking just a little bit to make the suspension take a set, but a lot of them are also just lifting off the throttle and not touching the brake. So you'll see little differences on entry, you'll see different lines here, and this camera is designed specifically to show you that sort of difference between driving styles. Because right now, Lance is the faster of the two from the look of things, although he gets a little loose out of 4 there, and he's going to give up some time as they lap around Caper. That is not going to matter too much because they are looking Fish right in the face as we go into turn 3. Or rather, they're looking at his butt. Because they're looking at the back of the car, you see. Coming off of turn number 2, they are going to be nose to tail as the second pack starts lapping around Capers. And this should get pretty intense here. These guys are all very tough competitors. All 3 of them have won at least 1 race this season. All 3 of them have led the points at one point this season. And it's going to be Jason Lance scored as the leader at the stripe on lap number 30. Here comes the 1 car with him. So familiar sight up front. Jason Lance, Dalton Williamson leading the way, as Williamson is not content to sit around in second. He's going to drop down to the bottom. And he does have his nose out front coming off 2. Lance surges ahead going into 3. Williamson outbrakes him as they come off 4. Too close to call it the stripe. I believe Jason Lance led that lap. Still side by side as Fish starts to look for a dancing partner here. Williamson clears Lance. Lance commits to the top side, and that's going to give Fish a shot at him. Fisher gets by and retakes second. So a lot of shuffling going on at the front of the field here as we enter the 30s. We're well into them now at lap 34. Looking back a ways from there, currently Andrew Smith is holding down the 4th position. And just behind him is early leader Stephen Kiefer, who is trying to get things back together. Then you've got TJ, and back here is a 3-car battle between Nate Anderson, the 99X of Johnny Berardi, and Billy Wise, who's having those connectivity issues earlier in the race. Right now, Wise is just trying to get back up on the back bumper of that 99X as Berardi stalks the number 8 up ahead. Meanwhile, this battle for the lead has not settled at all, shall we say. It has not settled one bit. As we're going to take another ride on the Dizzy Cam, if I can find it. And there it is. So let's see what Fish is doing differently from Williamson here. For one thing, Williamson's definitely having a much stronger exit out of the corner. Williamson getting in a little more shallow and coming off a little bit faster. But Fish is really starting to make up time off turn 2 through 3 and 4. He holds about even. He's going to really get up on him here in the center of 1 and 2. And then holds even once again, but gets really deep into 3. You can see Jason Lance starting to sneak in here. You can also see the amount of wheel input and just how far the wheels are turned on these cars. Matter of fact, it looks like Williamson had to catch it a little bit, not quite turning to the right, but straightening out. Saw a little bobble there out of Fish as well. Not a big one, just a little one. As these two continue to duke it out at the front of the field here, coming to lap 42. We'll go back upstairs with our camera. This one ought to do. Williamson, Fisher, Lance, the top 3. Now currently they are starting to reel in that battle up ahead of them. It's currently going between Billy Wise and Johnny Berardi, as well as the 13 of Alan Capers is another car that they're going to have to lap by. Capers has been on hiatus for a while. It's nice to see him back out here in that beautiful green number 13. As the leaders are really getting ready to catch him, there's that battle up ahead. Meanwhile, Nate Anderson has reeled in TJ and is probably going to be looking at getting around him for the 6th spot here in the near future. Let's go back up front. Getting ready to lap around Capers as we pull the camera back just a bit here. We got one backwards in turn 3. I think he got to the tow button before the yellow came out, so we are going to stay green. I do believe that was Billy Wise. So things have gone to bad, or from bad to worse for Wise here as we approach lap number 50. Top 3 starting to spread out a little again. Berardi now, with nobody to race with, is the next car who is going to be put a lap down. And he currently has a long way to go to catch those two ahead of him. That's TJ and Nate Anderson, who we looked at a moment ago. Meanwhile, Williamson is really starting to walk these two. Fisher right now might be playing a little bit more defense than he is offense, with Jason Lance right on his tail. These tires are not wearing too much also. As a matter of fact, during practice, most of us were running our fastest laps deep into a run, 50, 60 laps in. Some of these cars are handling better than they have all night. And I would definitely say one of those has got to be Williamson. Right now he is making that look extremely easy to drive out front. I'd say that's probably about 0.2 of a second there between the leader and second place. A good 3 to 4 car lengths on average. Sometimes a little more, sometimes a bit less as the yellow comes out. And it looks like that may have been for Alan Capers in the 13. We'll be back.
Bring your driver to life with custom-designed racing hero cards. Perfect for fans, sponsors, autograph sessions, and race day promotions. High-quality design, personalized layouts, and attention to every detail that makes your brand stand out. Turn your racing story into something fans can take home.
A few laps shy of halfway here. We're getting ready to go green once again. Your leader currently Dalton Williamson, and there seems to be a little lineup confusion behind him. Here comes Fisher to the outside. Then it's Lance, Smith, and Kiefer rounding out the top 5 as we get ready to go green. Great start for the number 1. as he's going to fire off first down into turn 1, and Fisher now fighting back on the outside, and I don't think that's going to work too well. The 76 of Jason Lance takes second place back. Looks like Smith got a little high up the track there, as they are deep too wide into turn number 1. Andrew Smith on the outside. Kiefer trying to look down to that inside, and Smith is giving him plenty of room to operate. Kiefer having a little bit of trouble getting the power down, though, trying to stay off of the number 87. And this is where all the battling is right now. The top 3 are single file. Kiefer gets to see a little bit of daylight out of 3 and 4, but still can't get under the 87. This seems like he cannot make the momentum work for him. Back behind them, that is Nate Anderson working the outside, and our video editor, Johnny Berardi, in the 99X working his way to the inside. Now he goes to the outside. Anderson is going to ride a little bit lower here. Is he going to go after TJ? Not yet. Both of them end up running the high line, and that is going to allow Berardi to take a look at them. Looking back up ahead again, these leaders getting scrappy as they come to put a lap on the number 13 of Alan Capers. They're all going to make it by just fine. Capers graciously gives them room to operate. Jason Lance continues to try and stalk down Dalton Williamson, and that has really been the story of this season. He has always been playing second fiddle to this number 1 car, and he is definitely looking hungry today, wanting to be the one in victory lane. And this may well be a great shot for him, as Williamson is not getting away like he normally does. He's got Lance and Fish right on his bumper all the way around this speedway. Back a bit further, there's Andrew Smith again and Stephen Kiefer. They're holding steady. And Berardi and Anderson once again going at it. Anderson with that connectivity issue. It's hard to tell where he scored. I think Berardi may have had the spot at the stripe. Into turn 3 we go. Berardi gets in deep, almost contact. And Berardi takes the spot away. That is for 7th. He now sets his sights on TJ in the number 23. Meanwhile, back up front, these 3 still hanging on, a little past halfway here. And during those restarts, things can get a little shuffly, but these 3 have always risen to the top of the standings on each restart tonight. This one is no exception. Uh-oh, I heard somebody hit the wall. That was Capers on the front stretch. He's able to keep the car going, no caution. And all the leaders avoid him. Fisher gets really sideways there, and meanwhile, Lance takes a look at the outside groove. As you can see, it is not as dark as where the cars have been running all night, and that is because nobody's been running up there. So going up there is a bit of a gamble, but it might be the only way to make a pass on somebody as good as Dalton Williamson. Fisher now has a bit of a mountain to climb to get back to these 2. Looks like we have had another collision. Alan Caper still able to keep the car going, but it looks pretty hurt. That is going to bring out another yellow and give us a moment for a word from our sponsors. We'll be right back. Getting ready to go green here again, and we got a fun new little overlay to play with down here in the lower left. We'll see if that stays on screen for the rest of the broadcast. We are green. Dalton Williamson gets out to the lead again, and Fisher looking to take second and bring Andrew Smith with him. Smith gets not a great run off of turn number 2, but Fish does, and he's got his nose out into the second position. Meanwhile, from there back, Kiefer and TJ now battling for position. Nate Anderson sizing both of them up, and Johnny Berardi waiting in the wings. The top 4 get single file, but not so much back here, as TJ's going to stay right on Kiefer's door to try and keep him down. Kiefer still gets a fantastic run out of 2. Here comes Anderson to the low side, and he blinks out. He's back. That could make things get really interesting back here in traffic. Up front, it's become a 4-car battle now. We've got Andrew Smith really keeping pace with those top 3, as Nate Anderson takes the spot from TJ on the outside. And back up to these top 4 again. The top 3 starting to gap Andrew Smith a little bit. And we drop a little bit further back to the number 8 of Anderson, who is back under attack from TJ. A lot of different things going on this track as we approach the end of the race. Lap number 86 of 125. Now, to my knowledge, nobody's had to stop for fuel, and I don't believe they're going to have to stop for tires either, despite the length of the race. So that means it is all driver today. And these tires, they really don't come in for about 10 laps either, so taking tires would be a big gamble. And I believe that's why we haven't seen anyone do it yet. You can see in our little overlay on the lower left of your screen there that the top 3 have definitely gotten away here. From 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th, and 8th. Really once again boiled down to these 3, and especially the 16 and the 76 right there behind Williamson. Fisher in the number 16 holds down the second position, with Lance on the outside trying to find a way back around him into that spot. Right now, that's one of the closest battles on the track. The other one, I would say, would probably be back here, and that is between Berardi and TJ, who's fallen quite a bit back off of Nate Anderson. Berardi down on the flat trying to find a way around him. Meanwhile, at the front, Lance gets a run, dives deep into turn 1, and he's got it coming off of turn number 2. New second place, the 76, Jason Lance, as he sets sail back after Dalton Williamson once more. Lance was your champion last season in the Street Stocks, which was the car of choice then, and he definitely carried that momentum into this season. Williamson came out of absolutely nowhere and has been putting on a clinic, though. Lance begins to gap that number 16 just a little bit. Not a lot, but a little. As we look further back here, closest battle on the track other than that one up front is still TJ and Johnny Berardi. And we can see both of them starting to get a little bit of that apron on their left side tires in 1 and 2. Now during practice, TJ was hanging a tire down there a lot of the time to get that car to turn. And it does seem to be paying off here, at least with his setup, as he's beginning to get away from Berardi now. Williamson with almost a 0.3 second lead over the 76, and just over half a second back to the 16. And it's going to be 2 seconds back to Andrew Smith and 3.5 to Stephen Kiefer. You can definitely see that down in the lower left there. This field is starting to spread out late in the going. we're going to take a quick break, and here's a word from your sponsors.
Think you can't race? Think again. SimAbility is breaking barriers and making sim racing accessible for drivers with disabilities. We're a welcoming iRacing league open to racers with disabilities, along with their friends and supporters of all abilities. Our members represent a wide range of skill levels and experience, from first-timers to seasoned competitors. This is a place to connect, compete, and most importantly, have fun. Racing isn't just about speed, it's about the freedom to compete. At SimAbility, we believe every driver deserves a spot on the grid. Join us every Wednesday at 7 p.m. Eastern for exciting battles, competitive racing, and great friendships. Join the SimAbility Racing League today.
20 laps remaining here at the Lanier National Speedway, and it has come down once again to two cars. The number 1 of Dalton Williamson and the number 76 of Jason Lance in a class of their own, as they've really started to get away from Fish now. Boy, Lance almost gives him a shot there going into turn 3. Look how close they are as they make their way down the front straightaway. Williamson forcing himself to go in a little bit deeper than I think he's comfortable going with that 76 right on him. I don't think there was any contact, but he definitely went a lot further into the corner than he meant to. Lance almost gets the wall there. This is a real nail biter, folks. They are right on top of each other. Not that many laps left to go. Very respectful racing out of these two, but hard racing all the same. Wiggle out of the number 1 there. Lance keeping pace with him. Oh, sideways goes the number 1. Here comes the 76 of Lance to the outside. And he's not going to quite get next to him yet, but here he goes in turn 1. He goes in deep. He is up beside him, but the 1 car re-clears him, coming out of 2. Lance back on the attack to the top. Williamson still holding the spot. Lance now trying everything he can think of. He gets in a little bit higher, punches some brakes, gets down to the bottom. Still can't quite get under Williamson, but that may be just what he needs to do to get a shot at him. And he looks a little bit faster as they come out of turn number 2. He gets a run going into 3. Not quite going to be there. You see just how close those bumpers get on corner entry. They're very close going into 3 and 4s. We've only got about 10 laps to go here. Contact into 1. Lance to the bottom. And he may have the lead here coming out of turn number 2. He does. New leader Jason Lance. He runs all the way down on the flat, washes up, and here comes Williamson. Lance only going to leave 1 lap out of that unless he can find a way back under the number 1. He's staying topside. He's getting deep into number 3. Nothing doing on turn number 4. The 1 of Williamson gets back out front. We've got 8 laps to go. Has to mount a charge all over again. Let's see what he does. He is within striking distance once again. I don't know if that same trick's going to work twice. Lance lets it out a little further. And then he punches the brakes again to try and get under Williamson. Williamson's really got that thing plastered down in the dotted line. Lance gets a better entry into 3. 5 laps to go. Lance now working the outside once again. Into 3, he gets on the inside. He's down on the flat. No momentum down there, but he does have a nose on him. Can he get in there going into 1? He does. New leader, Jason Lance, again on lap 121. Here comes Williamson back to the inside. And it's going to be tight off of turn number 4, folks. The 76 giving it everything he's got on the top is going to lead that lap. Williamson gets a great run through 1 and 2. Has to check up a bit, and Lance is moving on that top groove. Williamson catches the flat just a little bit. These two side by side again. Lance gets a great run on the outside through 1 and 2. He's still able to hold up next to him. We have got 2 laps to go here. 2, count them. Lance continuing to hold the outside, gets a great run on the exit of 2 once again. It's not quite enough to have his nose ahead in the center of the straightaway. And Williamson's going to lead that lap, but here is the white flag. And they're coming up on the lap car of Johnny Berardi. I don't think he's going to be a factor as they go into 3. Lance throws it in on the outside, but I don't think it's going to be enough. Dalton Williamson, by a hair at the start-finish line, takes the victory at Lanier. Oh, it is going to be fun talking to these two in victory lane today, along with 3rd place, Don Fisher. Good to see him pull off another podium here. Andrew Smith comes home 4th. Then Stephen Kiefer, Nate Anderson, and let's see, Tom Johnson and Johnny Berardi with Alan Capers rounding out the field. Let's go talk to your podium. There we go. And we're back up here with the top 3. Your 3rd place driver is Don Fisher. And it's really good to see you getting back to form here late in the season. I know you had some struggles mid-season, but you did have that win at the start. Have you been having much trouble getting your groove back?
It's just those couple tracks I really hated and road courses, so that's the problem. But yeah, that was a lot of fun. I wish I was a little bit closer to those 2 guys because that looked like it was really, really fun at the end.
Yeah, it was definitely close. There were a lot of nail-biting moments. Was there a moment in there where you thought, hey, maybe these two wreck and I can sneak away with this one?
There's always that thought, but these guys race too clean.
Yeah, no, that's true. That is true.
Although I was very impressed, Jason passed him twice, I think, right, Jason?
Something like that. But
Yeah.
that was me actually accidentally getting into him, moving him up the track.
Right on. You got anybody that you would like to thank, Fish?
No, I'd just like to thank this group. I had a chance to speak to Glenn today, Sidman. It was real nice. We haven't chatted yet, so that was fun, and I really appreciate coming here on Wednesdays. It's a lot of fun. Would we have 2 cautions?
I think 2, yeah.
Yeah,
Maybe
that's not bad.
3.
Not bad for 125 laps.
Not bad at all. Alright, so we're going to gather up Jason Lance here. And Jason, you already know what I'm going to ask. Tell me about that battle with Dalton Williamson at the end there. What was going through your mind and what were you planning?
Well, I decided I follow him, and then maybe I can get an early cut off at exit because I seem to be good there, but he seemed to be very consistent, be able to run that bomb. So I figure I might try the high line because you can get up side by side once you get up to the finish line. So that's kind of what I was thinking. Maybe pin him down, get that side draft off of him. But I did not have a very good last lap.
Yeah, it looked like the outside groove definitely did not have quite as much grip as the preferred line. Was it sliding around a lot out there or was it pushing?
For me, it was pushing. You had to be very. It seemed like you had to be more so precise than if you were running the bomb line. And I know I accidentally got into Dalton a few times. That's what got me by him. But I don't like to move people out of the way. I'd rather have a clean, respectful race.
That is much appreciated from the whole field. There's a lot of really clean racing here. You got anybody that you'd like to thank?
Uh, just my wonderful girlfriend, Rachel, who supports me in absolutely everything I do. I mean, she's like the soulmate I've always searched for. I mean, we have so much in common. She likes to watch me race on here. And she wasn't a fan of racing prior until she started watching me.
Right on. That's a keeper.
Right, I know.
Alrighty. So let's go over to Dalton Williamson here in the number one. And how hard was it to get a run off the bottom when you were side by side? It looked like you were really trying to make sure you stayed off of Jason there.
Yeah, I was trying to hold the bottom line the best I could just to try to back it up and get a run. But yeah, it was a fun race.
Yeah, that looked fun. Was it a bit of a nail biter there at the end?
It was. That was a lot of fun.
Do you got anybody you'd like to thank?
The league, you for broadcasting, Platinum RV Services, AccuForce, PRS, and other than that, see y'all next week.
Alrighty. Well, for Johnny Berardi, this is Leilani Wilson. We'll see you next week.